Hi all, and the topic of today is ADP. Last time we did discuss Shakti's dividend portfolio, and this is the company I did mark. We've noticed that the stock is going down. Does it mean that we should buy, we should invest in the company? So, Shakti, hi.
Right. And again, we are not recommending any buy or sell. It's just an analysis. So we'll just discuss about the reasons behind what's happening with the stock. So not investment advice. Right? So the stock is going down recently in the last 1 year. And I was intrigued because the history of this stock has always been positive. Every year they have shown really good growth. But in the last 1 year, I see almost a 30% crash, and was curious if the issue is with the financials or some negative news in the market. So let's look at our data. Let's see if there is something wrong with the financials or some numbers that we need to be worried about.
Yeah, thanks, Shakti. And please, everyone, like, share, and subscribe as it will help us a lot. So, uh, we are data people. Let's look at the data. Automatic data processing. So, what's this company is doing?
Yeah. So throughout my career, all the companies I worked for, they use ADP for their payroll processing. And so it's a very familiar name across the board for many companies, probably across the planet also, many other countries. It's across the international borders. So it's a company that's been around for a long time, and they have been growing pretty well until recently. So let's look at the chart. I see the 1 year chart is negative, but if you look at the 5 year or 10 year or expand to the max, you'll see a chart which is kind of going in one positive direction. The overall CAGR has been more than 11% since they went since the last 30 years actually. So the company has been doing well until recently. Let's look at the financials. If there is any issue with the numbers.
Let's do that. So, I saw that the highest stock price was over 300, and now they're selling it for a little bit above $200 per share. The financials, revenue growing.
Yeah, it's going. Net income, I believe it's going up. The last time I checked, everything was going up. And, the equity is also good, I think. Yes,
Uh,
we had a drop in between. I think it has recovered pretty well. So
yeah.
that doesn't seem to be the reason for the recent crash, right? And if you look at the dividends, that's one of the reasons why I got into the stock in the first place. And again, it's a growing dividend. If you go back to the dividends page that we have, that will give us an idea about the 5 year CAGR and 10 year CAGR for the stock. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 5 year CAGR is 11%, 10 year CAGR is 12%. These are extraordinary numbers when it comes to dividend growth. And the current yield is pretty high because of the recent stock crash. So when you look at the numbers, it's all positive. Let's look at the DCF also. The valuation for the company, I believe, is somewhere near fairly valued. If you're expecting just an 8% growth, yeah, the company just needs to grow at 3% for the next 5 years to justify the current stock price, so that you can get 8% returns over the next 5 years. These are numbers based on the free cash flow, and as you see, the free cash flow has grown by 20%. The revenue is also growing at 7%. And even if I increase my total return expectation to maybe 10%, I believe the fair value estimate will be pretty close. So far, everything looks good. So from a numbers perspective, I don't see any problem.
But what's the reason why the stock is going down?
Yeah, I mean, one of the arguments, AI is a threat, right? So this is technically a software as a service company, and these days people are worried that AI could take over some of their business. So, what is your opinion on that?
So, all right. I don't really know why the stocks is going down.
See, if I was the analyst, right? So all I do is go to the stock news. I'm
Sure.
actually logging in. See, right? So I look at the news, and it's an undervalued dividend growth. Right? It's obvious. People are discussing that it is undervalued, as just like we are, and then just scan through to see if there is any negative news going on. There is nothing. So it's like the only thing that I see is it seems to be undervalued, and people are increasing their holdings. Now, if there is no obvious negative news, then we can check with the AI, right? So then now you go to the AI to see if there is anything else that we can gather, right? Now you can ask why is ADP stock
Why
going down
is a stock is going down
in value?
in the last year? I think it was April 2025. Okay. Yeah. Despite positive financial metrics, this is what we've seen. ADP stocks
One of the analysts lowered their price target to 270, citing concerns over the impact of artificial intelligence over labor markets. Right. So the concern here is not an AI tool taking over ADP. Instead, I think folks are afraid that a lot of people will lose their jobs. Now, if more people lose their jobs, the amount of payroll that ADP is going to process also going to go down. So it's like a situation where a lot of people start losing their jobs in the market and there's nothing to process for ADP. And this is a very vague claim. And if that is the case, yes, the stock will be affected down the line in the future. But is it really the case, or is it just a some negative sentiment going around without maybe it's baseless? We don't know. We have to wait and see if AI can replace that many jobs.
No, I don't believe in this. I'm buying the stocks. That's it.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? So these are some negative sentiments that circulate around the market and rumors. In my opinion, these are rumors, right? But maybe if the market actually believes in the AI hype, there is reason for the stock to go down. Otherwise, financially, this company is pretty strong.
Oh,
And in my opinion, if the AI revolution takes starts replacing jobs, you will see that in the revenue numbers. The financial statement will show you a drop in revenue, and that's when we should be actually worried about, rather than speculating what's going to happen in the future.
that's very interesting. That's incredible. I haven't thought from this direction actually. I was just clueless. So what's happening and why? Interesting. Let's do the quick academy thing. So what I'm interested in company financials, profitability check. Okay, revenue up, but net income negative means uh, high dividends. No, company losing money.
Yeah. So when they say losing, I think it's the expenses are high, probably.
Yeah.
So you end up with less profit than used to. Yeah.
Thanks, Shakti. I actually got lost with ADP stock situation. Thanks for helping me with this.
And this is a very good example of how just an opinion can change the direction of a stock price.
Yeah. Thank you, Shakti. And bye, everyone.